Welcome back to the Football Exponential Podcast. I'm joined by my usual partner, Frank.
How are you doing? Welcome back, guys, and Merry Christmas.
Yeah. And for everybody watching, if you're watching us right now, please smash that like button, follow, subscribe, share, so we can give you more. Frank, this is the last one before Christmas, before Boxing Day games. Let's
Yeah.
go straight to the point. Let's start with no one else but number one media football club, the number one, the only club who has won like only four titles, but they keep dominating the news. They're the biggest club in England to me, Manchester United. They are just the biggest. The marketing,
Yeah.
everything is another
Yeah.
level, just the footballing aspect. So the same Man United against, what can you say against Bournemouth? Justin Kluivert was like play. I was thinking I was watching Patrick Kluivert today in action.
No, but with United, are you surprised?
No, 3-0 from Bournemouth is because if you notice, they've smashed. Remember they smashed Everton 4-0.
Yeah.
The small clubs they've met or they've played against in the Europe in the Champions League, they've won. I think they've won most of their games under Amorim. They've struggled against the big teams, against Liverpool, against Arsenal, but against small teams, they've won or they beat them or they got good results from them.
Yeah, but I think I think I'll also go further and say the games they've won in the Premier League. That's the Everton game and the Manchester derby last weekend. You're playing against an Everton team away from home, who you know what Everton are. They'll probably go there, they'll make it tough for you. But once Everton concede the first goal, it's almost game over for them because their game is on. It's just about spoiling your style and just keeping you quiet for as long as possible. But with City game, that's just two bad teams playing at the same time, and it wasn't really a very good game. But they win that game. But with this Bournemouth performance and the result today, I was watching Chelsea game that I tuned in. I was just going back and forth. I was not surprised. It's Bournemouth beat them 12 months ago at Old Trafford 3-0 with a different head coach, different players. I believe five of the players that started today started the game last year against Bournemouth or last season against Bournemouth that finished the same scoreline. So with United, it's not really a surprise how they perform and how they get results these days. It's a lot of how. But I think one thing I'm going to give them is they find new ways of losing football matches in just different ways. Where the performance today is obviously bad, but it's just and it's bad. But with a new manager, you expect a certain level of new manager bounce. But with United, there's not been any. There's not. There's barely been a shift in terms of the overall, in terms of the results, but the overall performance of majority of the players is just bad. And even the ones that have been playing well so far, the likes of Onana, Mazraoui, Kobe Meno, today they're all either like making stupid decisions in possession or they are giving away a penalty by making a silly tackle. And you have the captain Bruno Fernandes who's just always caught in no man's land. He can't really find his teammates. He's always a few seconds late to the press. His passes are not connecting. He doesn't keep the ball well. And it's just again, it goes back to the root problem. This is a club that has been left to rot for the last 10, 12 years. And
Yeah,
it's not just one manager to blame, it's not just one player to blame. It's the whole institution of Manchester United. And you cannot correct years of bad transfer dealings, years of bad player management, bad squad building, bad players who've been there with no not done that have come and are not the right fits. You can't change culture you can't change the culture of a club that has been bad in 2 months. This is a long term process. And as my guy said, Rafranik said a few years ago when just before Tenak came, he said the situation is that of a level of open heart surgery where you need to take drastic measures to solve the problem. He was very optimistic about it. Like he said it wasn't impossible, but you need to start acting now, and you have to take very serious maneuvers to solve the problem. He wasn't listened to. I don't know what happened behind closed doors, but he left the club. They got in Ten Hag, and Ten Hag came in, spent over £600 million, and the squad is still. If I think honestly, I believe this team is worse than they had 4 or 5 years ago. Because even 4 or 5 years ago, you had Pogba was still there, Jesse Lingard was still there. I'm not talking. These are not world class players, but they will call it that good players. But now you have players that can't find a pass, players that can't run, can't press, no energy, no tackling. And it's tough because I feel because the biggest issue for me, the biggest worry for me is the coach. And when if results don't go your way and you're just sitting, like you said, Manchester United are the biggest club in England, they come with a lot of prestige and the expectations are always high. And if they keep being where they are, that's below that mid-table region. Attention will at some point shift to the manager. Should he do something better? Should he change the system? The system is not good enough. And I feel I saw him today. And you can see like he's already the magnitude of the job is already getting to him already. Where it's not. I'm not saying
Yeah,
he's not.
yeah, yeah. I,
He's not under pressure.
I was very surprised when I saw. I think it's on Twitter or somebody said that the performance today is worse than under Ten Hag. I'm like, is this early? Like, are you comparing the performance now? Like, are you already
Yeah.
criticizing the manager this early? But the only thing I can, not the only thing, the most important thing I can say, and it's very, very important to me, is that I know you're going to argue. I'm starting to think that Kobe Meno is not as good as people thought.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I,
Well.
I'm, I'm very, very disappointed. I'm extremely very, very disappointed. And if you remember, the player of the signing of the season for me was Manuel Ugarte. That was the signing of the
Yeah.
season in the whole transfer. And my basis of that signing wasn't on Manuel Ugarte himself. The base why I picked Manuel Ugarte is I believe so much on Meno, and I felt that having an Ugarte close to him gives him the license to become the player I felt he was going to become.
Okay.
Now,
Uh,
I'm not saying he's good or he's bad. I expected too much from him. I was thinking he's going to be like a sort of Kupama sort of player, Jude Bellingham
oh,
sort of player. He might end
that's
up
too
being a
much.
Michael
That's
Carrick. I was expecting like
yeah.
Lampard, Gerrard. You get what
No.
I'm trying to say? But like Lampard, Gerrard, Kupama. But what I'm seeing right now is that he I was thinking he's going to show that some players play good even when the whole team is playing bad. You see them being so good. But I'm
Yeah.
thinking that maybe I rushed it or maybe he's not as good as I thought.
No. Okay. Okay.
Because
And
Ahmad is playing way better. You could see him no matter how bad they play, Ahmad shows himself. I can't say the same thing
but
with
no.
Kobe.
But I'm I'm going to push hard on this because I think on one of our previous recordings I rate it's obvious I rate Kobe Mino highly, but I feel you mentioned Ahmad, who's been one of the best players since he's been there, but who else is playing well at United? Has there been any player in
The only the only three players that apart from Ahmad, they pick the games they are good at. But if you look at them, you will know that they are good for the system. I'll mention three. They've made mistakes, a lot of mistakes, but I think they are good. Mazarari and Onana, they've made
yeah
mistakes. That,
yeah
that, that is
yeah
the only. Every other person on that field, I can't say anything else.
yeah
Mazarawi
but
and Onana and Ahmad. That's the only three players I think the system, no matter the mistakes they make, I think they are good for the
Yeah,
system.
it's I see it with like Kobe Mino. Like I know you said you expect him to be in that Jude Bellingham bracket, Cole Palmer bracket, but I see him more as Manchester United's version of Enzo Fernandez. And you saw Chelsea in last until recently, Chelsea had their a Fernandez problem. How do you fit Enzo Fernandez into this Chelsea team and make it a serious team in the Premier League? With Enzo Fernandez in the starting 11 because we know he's not the best off the ball. He's running, he's tackling. but he's fantastic on the ball as well. So how do you solve that problem? And with Maresca has found a way to motivate the player to give more of the ball, and also found a system that platforms the player to perform to his best attributes. So it's not just why is Mino not giving his best for the team, but I don't think it's not about I think the team is just not because if you're playing in a two with wing backs and two number tens, what are the number tens in front of you? You're not playing. We're not talking about a highly creative player that can receive the ball in the pocket and can sustain attacks. This is Bruno Fernandes we're talking, who gives the ball away more than any attacking player in the Premier League does. So what are you trying to build when you have a guy like Fernandes in front of you, who is not really a creative player, in my opinion, and you have the other guy in front, the other guy to the side, Ahmad, who's more of wing
But
back type player. So I just feel the pieces are not really there, and it's just because what you said. I also saw it. I saw it. A few journalists from Manchester are already asking the question, "Where is Kobe Mino?" And it feels people have gone from they've destroyed Rashford. Now they're going to the next person to
yeah. They are
and
looking for the next person.
and instead of just accepting the fact that you know what, this is as a squad, as a team, this is a totally mediocre team. They have to accept. People just have to accept the fact that this team is not as good as it should be. The players are not technically good. They're not physically good, and it will take a while. Of course they could make the right decisions and they could back in the year or two. But this is Manchester United. This is they're in that Chelsea era with Graham Potter,
Yeah,
where they're just they're just around. They're just doing things, but it's not good enough. They can get a result here and there, but systematically over the course of a short period or long period, it's not just good enough. And I feel if once you play against a team like the last two home defeats against Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest, these are two teams that have recruited well, not just in players but in managers as well.
yeah.
Nuno and Yarora, they're two of the best managers this season. But these two guys, they play with their teams are very physical. They play with a lot of pace, a lot of running, a lot of creativity, a lot of intent. They're very exciting teams to watch. Do you get excited when you watch Manchester United? Have you been excited watching Manchester United
Mhm.
last year or two? Just it's just not good, and it just shows weekly the magnitude of the job that's at hand, not just for the coach, but for the sporting directors, the new owners. Because I feel there are a lot of noise coming out of Manchester right now. Is a lot of people are not happy with this Jim Ratcliffe era, and it's not just about football. It's in terms of the cost cutting measures outside football, cutting staff bonuses, all that is just the optics of it is not really quite good. So it might take a while for them to get all that stuff sorted out. But again, it goes back to the main point. They have to look at the same. And I know Denmark is coming in a few days. They have discussions about certain players in and out. It seems they've already made a decision on Rashford, which I feel is the best footballing decision for both parties. But they need to
Yes.
make they need to make they need to make more decisions in terms of players.
But
They don't.
even if it's the best, uh, this is for the first time. I think I can have it both ways. I've
Yeah.
always supported Rashford, but in this case, I I have I have more respect for Manchester United than Rashford, and this is my point. Rashford knew more than 2 seasons ago that he can't make it in United any longer. The
Hmm.
attacks were getting personal. He
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
improving. I expected him to seek for a move, be it anything, and move. He did it. He was taking the salary and he was still underperforming. I feel he was making a living from United. And he would have continued this way if Amorim didn't come in and say, "You're not part of my team." So I feel sometimes I get the players have to think of their money. They have to get the bag. They have to secure the bag. But you cannot be securing the bag and still be complaining when you are maltreated or something. If you know it's not working, you make a move. I didn't expect
Yeah.
him to stay this long in United. Like it was clear because everything I didn't like how they attacked him when he went to America. It's his personal life. The club's instance is a problem. Yeah. But and then when I realized that he was going too far was when Troy Deeney criticizes you, you realize that there's something wrong.
Yeah, but,
Fredini was
but
the first football player I ever read serve term, serve jail term or whatever. I didn't know it's possible that as a professional football you can go to prison. Don't get me wrong. Mike Tyson went, I grew up knowing, but I didn't understand what I'm trying to say. I didn't know that
yeah,
at that
yeah,
level. But
yeah,
he
yeah,
said
yeah.
something, he said that where he reached, the peak or wherever he reached, he can't look back and regret anything because he gave his all.
But that and I feel that's a fantastic point you made, and I feel with Rashford, and I hope this is obviously we don't know the player personally, and we don't know what his state of
Yeah,
mind
yeah,
is.
yeah.
But like I hope at some point, because like I've said for a long time, this is a player that I don't think he enjoys playing football. And he's not enjoyed playing football
No,
for a
he
long
does.
time,
There's something wrong. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and because football is a very intense sport, but it's also it's an expressive sport. If you're not in the right frame of mind, you can't really you can't see the pictures correctly in your head. And I felt for a long time just a change between the two clubs. You go your way, we go the club goes his way. United can go and achieve what they can achieve, and Rashford can go and enjoy his football somewhere else, experience another culture, another footballing philosophy, and just be happy on the football pitch again. If that's what he wants ultimately, but if he wants to just pack it in, probably go to Saudi, get the as you say, get the bag there and just call it a day in a few years. But if he wants to be serious in terms of his football, there are a lot of clubs, especially in Italy, that can take him with a pay cut
But
and
whoever
if I,
is signing him is taking a big risk. He
yeah,
seems
no,
so
it's
disinterested in football. It's a risk.
yeah,
His mind,
yeah.
I don't think his mind is. It might be another
But
Jesse Lingard. The way he's going, like I don't know.
it's the United problem, and there's one player who was there who signed for United a few years ago, and that was Angel Di Maria. And Di Maria has been one of the most consistent players in European football, up there with Ronaldo,
Yeah,
Messi, and Benzema, all of them. But if you look at his career or if you look at his career in large scale, you see only one blip period in it, and that was when he was at Manchester United. The 6 months to 8 months he had at Manchester United with Louis van Gaal, and the luck he had that he left quickly before it started. It
yeah, yeah, yeah.
really changed the direction of his career. He left. He spent I think it was one season then left. But Rashford has been in this toxic environment for a long time, inhaling the fumes of this toxic place. He's now becomes the club is toxic, and the player has now become toxic as well, where his mind isn't in it. Like it's just the amount of stories in the last 14 days about Marcus Rashford. It's incredible the amount of everywhere you go, it's Marcus Rashford, Marcus Rashford. He's not played for Manchester United the last three games in Premier League and League Cup. But that's it. Before kickoff today, guess who they're talking about? Marcus Rashford. And so at some point, and I just hope this new week coming. Like I hope I don't I'm just tired of listening to discussions about Rashford, talking about Rashford because it's just all exhausting. And I feel both of them just have to solve this. They just have to break up that relationship, go their own way. And with United, it's not just a Rashford problem. It's if Rashford leaves, because he's gone from it was a few years ago. It was Paul Pogba. It was Maguire. It's Rashford now. Who in the next few months is going to be Kobe Mino. And how do you resolve? But I just feel they have to just listen, take some hard truths and just rebuild. They have to start the rebuild now. Just get as many players out of that club as possible and get the right players in as soon as possible. That's the goal going forward.
Okay, so let's move to the next one. Aston Villa, they slice open uh, they
Manchester
slice
City,
open Manchester City, and for the not for the first time, but if you watch what's his name? Tillesman.
Tilleman. Tilleman.
Tilleman. If you watch
Yuri
him, you think
Tillemans.
he was so good on the day. He was like
But it's not just on the day, but he's been fantastic this season. He's another player
he's
that's
been
had
fantastic.
he has had has he has had he's found the Premier League tough at some points, but with Emery and Aston Villa, he's playing fantastic. And again, just touching on Kobe Mino, this is the kind of player you want Kobe Mino to become for your team, where he receives the ball, he's always getting the ball, turning, finding passes. But what makes Tillman's performance as good as he has this season, and especially against Man City during the weekend, is if you look at the players around him, he's surrounded with some of the fastest, tallest, aggressive players in Premier League. Duran, Rogers, McGinn, Onana, Kamara. These are very strong players physically, and you can sort of just get by because they will take you off that side of the job, and they let you focus on the ball playing, the creativity. And again, it's a journey's football, and Aston Villa were fantastic against Man City. But it should be expected if this Man City team can get beat by a terrible Manchester United team. This is the level where these two clubs are right now in
Right.
Manchester. And I think with Man City, it, has this ever happened before in the Premier League where a team has dropped from this high in terms of their levels where Man City probably they go like a whole year, a whole calendar year, just losing like 4 or 5 games in a whole calendar year, and they've lost eight. They've lost how many games now? I think eight of the last 12.
Yeah, yeah.
Eh,
I don't. There was one win in 11. I forgot it before the game yesterday.
So
So
it's one
one
win in
win in
12.
12. Yeah,
So one
because
win in
of
12, yeah.
confusion.
That's
Huh?
and it's not just because you've played variety of teams in the Premier League, you played in the Champions League, you played against you played against very good teams that are okay, teams that are average, and but the one constant is regardless of the position they played is they have no control of games and they give away a lot of chances. And their midfield is just their their midfield in transition is just it's incredible how bad it is for the
Yeah,
level at which you expect from these players, the coach as well, Pep Guardiola, and because it's getting to the point where you just have to say, okay, you know what, just like United, just accept the reality, new reality. Okay, we are bad, we are not playing well, we're not playing good. You cannot keep playing the same midfield or the same combination of midfielders every week and expecting the same result. Rico Lewis in midfield, Gundogan in midfield, Bernardo Silva in midfield. It has to stop. These guys are not working. Then you bring in Kovacic that 2 years ago was deemed surplus to requirements at Chelsea because he was not
that's it. Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
was
yeah,
not
yeah.
he was no longer of the level of the Manchester City then and Arsenal then where okay, these are the teams you're chasing. Kovacic cannot get you there. You move Kovacic on, he goes up to Man City and he's found himself in a situation where he's their number one midfielder. I know
Yeah.
obviously Rodri has an injury, but any situation where you're starting to regularly Kovacic and Gundogan, that's worrying for the team.
So and then Pep, this is a big problem for him because he has never experienced that, and this is the first time he's really really struggling. He's really really struggling because he could see that the solution nothing is working. It's just sort of he's out.
Yeah, yeah, but again, but has it really changed? Has it really tried to rectify the situation in terms of changing the makeup of the starting 11 or just moving players around? And even just for example, playing. I know, I know they're not in the best form right now with Doku and Savinho, but they have a lot of pace. They're players that are they're very they're exciting players. Just to say simply, it's a situation where you allow them play through the bad form or play into confidence where they make the mistakes now and they can grow and become better yeah, with more games and then with months to come. But sticking with the tried and trusted that's no longer working. Bernardo Silva playing in wide positions it doesn't add much to the attack. Bernardo Silva cannot beat a man in 2024 in the Premier League. He can't go past any man. He can't go past anybody. You, he struggles to create, struggles to defend off the ball as well, and it's just, and I feel, and it's become a situation where even you have one of the best strikers in the world, Erling Haaland, and it just looks he looks like he's wasted in this team. Like there's no service,
Well,
and when you can say
when people criticize Haaland for, they say he does nothing but score goals. He can't play from deep. When you watch Haaland in Dortmund, he came deep, passed the ball, progressed the ball a lot. With Sancho, with Bellingham, it was Pep that
yeah,
just
yeah,
changed
yeah,
him to just a box striker. And he
it,
remember the goal he scored against it was PSG. It was Buffon
yeah,
where
yeah.
he could
I
run
remember,
and play,
yeah,
but he's no longer doing that. He just stays at the pocket or in the pocket and then does all the damage. I, I don't
yeah.
know. I think it's big trouble. If there's any coach I think that can survive it, I think it's Pep. But the problem is that he's looking confused. He's looking confused.
No, I know because the issue is you go into games with the expectation of we have to win games because Man City don't do Man City I think they'll go on 10, 15 games unbeaten, 10, 15 straight wins. And now there are this crossroads where they just have to accept the new reality, make the necessary changes, and if they can get one or two bodies in January and plan for the ultimate rebuild in the summer because they have to. A lot of players have overstayed not overstayed their welcome because they served the club fantastic, but a lot of players have not. A lot of players need to be moved on. Grealish, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. You keep these players around, but I feel they need to go back to Pep has to go back to his checkbook.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. But just before I go, but Aston Villa, this Aston Villa, that was a really fantastic performance, and it was refreshing to see Aston Villa be playing in that style because we haven't really seen the best of them this season because they've been a bit preoccupied with European commitments, and they've always. I think this is probably their first week the first week this season where they had no midweek games, and
Mm.
you can tell how fresh they were. John Durant he's becoming a problem. He's already
Is it? Yeah.
yeah. Is I think I feel the coach has already made that decision and making him the number one striker for the time being because Watkins has been on bench for the last two Premier League games now. So I don't know if he's just keeping players fresh for the long season. But I loved a lot of what Aston Villa did. Rogers was fantastic. I think every team in the Premier League needs a player like John
I
McGinn.
think, yeah.
If you want to be
When
success,
I saw him on the
if you want
wing,
to
I
be
was
success,
like, "What are
if
they
not,
doing, bro? Man,
yeah,
he hasn't changed." I saw him
he's
for the
always
first
on
time. I
wing.
was thinking, the energy, the passing, and he's so good that I don't know his favorite position. You play him deep, you play him behind the striker, I play him on. He's just he knows what he's doing. Let's
No,
move
it's
to the next one.
I-
Tottenham, they were disgraced by Liverpool today, and I've always been a big critic or heavy critic of Daniel Levy. But having watched
okay.
Tottenham today, I'll say that if you claim that Postecoglou doesn't have a part to play in this decline, then you're part of the problem. Because I was watching Dragusin that they signed from, was it from Genoa? Everybody wanted
Yeah,
him. Roma, I think Roma
yeah.
wanted him. He can't be this bad all of a sudden. Like
Roma
they
wanted
thought
them.
he was nowhere to be found. He wasn't in his position. And I'm saying there
Eh,
is a system you are playing that is exposing this. I'm not saying they are the best players, but there's something not working. And I was looking at it and said, Spurs have the squad to at least be top six. They have the squad to be fifth or sixth in the league. And they are
yeah, yeah,
11th. So
yeah,
that is not Daniel Levy. I get it. I get it that the decline wasn't started by him. When you the greatest problem or my greatest criticism of Daniel Levy was when Jose Mourinho was required to just win a cup trophy or Europe, sorry, or the League Cup, and he was sacked. That tells me that the person is more concerned about paying the person other than winning a trophy. So it summarizes Levy, but at the same time, I feel the coach can do a better job. Bournemouth don't have a better squad than them. Um, um,
not
um,
not Nottingham Forest
yeah,
don't have a
they don't
better
have a
squad
better squad
either.
than them.
Newcastle, the Newcastle have a better squad than them. I don't think so.
So I don't think so.
And And with Ange, it's I think with Ange, it's just so far in the Premier League, it's been a snowball effect where with every time he makes a bold statement in the press or comes across to the press, it's just he makes things worse. And they had a League Cup game against Manchester United during the week, and the game ended up excitingly ended up 4-3 on the night. And I was watching the post-match interactions or post-match press conference, and he jokingly says, asks the reporter, "Oh, another game. We scored this score. Are you not entertained?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It was
this
against
then
Manchester United. I was like,
yeah then as he says, I was thinking to myself, okay, then it all clicked in my head because earlier in the season he said, "Oh, I'm a manager that always wins in my second year at whatever club I've been." And it clicked in my head, like, you know what? He's right. He's the manager that's always won everywhere he's gone. But the point he keeps missing is he's never been in the Premier League.
yeah,
The quality, the opposition you come up against, the financial power, the players you come up against is probably the best it's probably the best you've seen. And when you're Celtic being the best team in Scotland, going up against Rangers and the other teams, it's okay. You're expected to win. You're expected to win at Celtic. It's just a matter of how you win and how soon you can win. But if you're a Celtic, you win. But Celtic will win the Scottish Premiership this season. They won the Scottish Cup last week as well. You will win at Celtic. But when it comes to the Premier League, you have to be creative, you have to be adaptable and find solutions to problems as they arise. And the game against Liverpool, it's I'm not a Tottenham fan, I'm a Chelsea fan. I'm a Chelsea fan like you. But I found myself getting annoyed watching Tottenham play that first half. It seemed it's I don't know if they're trying to get this guy sacked or this is what he wants. These are instructions. But
I think he's daring. I even think he's daring the owners or the management because I'm expecting him. Even in his press conference, he doubles down. He doubles down. It's sort of this is. I'm not gonna change. I've never seen that from a manager.
no, but and again, I always hate to go to talk about people personally. But I've noticed before before he does the press conference and when he's talking to the press, he's always head up. You can see his eyes. You can see it. You can read him well. He talks well. But whenever they lose, his head is always down.
I've not noticed it.
I just
Uh,
I I implore you, just because they probably lose the next game, just watch him closely. Before the match, it comes with the energy, the intensity. He says what he has to say, but whenever they get bad results, it's always down. Like, okay, we tried our best. But and if you ask, you've seen football for a long time. Have you ever seen any team win anything tangible, defending the way Tottenham defended in the last 18 months?
no, because Pep's team
It's
doesn't even allow you chances, but Tottenham
it,
gives
it,
you so much chances to kill them.
it's it's impossible. This is so in the last three home games in the league and the cup, they've conceded four against Chelsea, six against Liverpool, three against Manchester United, and these are the teams where you should be. You're the same ballpark with these teams where you're trying to win stuff as well, and it's just I. I don't want to say naive, but I feel this is his design. This is what he wants, where you're trying to I don't think I've seen a team try to press as bad as Tottenham did against Liverpool. Because you're playing against Liverpool. The one thing you don't want to give Liverpool, especially the attackers and with Trent McAllister on the ball, you don't want to give them space in behind. But they kept giving. How Liverpool didn't score more than six, they make it 7, 8, 9, or 10 today. That's down to pure luck on their part because they could have been really embarrassed today. And it gets to the point where and they solely I know a lot of Tottenham fans that seem to be divided, whether you're on the Ange Postecoglou side or you're on the Danny Levy side in terms of who's at fault for this whole situation. But I feel what's Ange has lost a lot, he has lost a lot of Tottenham fans, and I feel the problem started towards the end of last season when they had the situation when Man City were coming to town. They had
Yeah,
to
you
beat.
say you criticize the fans. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
I feel since that moment, the relationship between him, the club, and how majority of the fans see him as the Tottenham manager, as is dead. There's no relationship. And when you start considering heavily at home, considering six for a Liverpool team, yeah, a fantastic Liverpool team, but not just getting outplayed, outrun, out thoughts is I feel the writing's on the wall. It's just a matter of time now. It's just a matter of time
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
this is
yeah.
not this. I feel it's an unfortunate situation because when he came, it was very refreshing when he came into the job.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With so much
He had
energy and
he had so much energy. There was a lot of enthusiasm towards him. A lot of people caught on quick to the kind of style he was playing. Well, not me. I know a bluffer when I see one. He's the Joao Felix of football managers. There's nothing there. He will show you a trick. He will show you a trick here and there, but ultimately there's nothing in it. There's no finishing. You can't expect him to.
I so much believed in him, the way he talks stuff. Yeah. But one thing I don't like about him, and it's starting to get on me, and any manager that does that, I hate it, is talking down on the press. The way he talks to people, they're asking you a question because you don't do that when you lose. Like, you don't do that when you win. When he loses, he'll be like, oh, the way I was like, no, 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 no. You need to have that same energy. You need to have the
You know,
same energy.
and you can imagine if he's coming across that way in the press conference, then is it how are his players really getting his message? Are they trying to understand what he's trying to communicate?
He will be the manager next season. I don't know if he can last this season,
Yeah,
but he
because
did. But I think they will. I think they might sack him this season because they are
I
11th.
I
There's
I,
no how Tottenham
I,
can finish 11th.
I think they'll stay
It's
with
not possible.
I think they'll stay with him
I don't
because
think
they
they'll
have.
improve. That's my
I
point.
I think they'll stay with him with the whole because they were all sing from the same the club and the coach and manager all sing from the same hymn sheet. We have all our players injured. The goalkeeper, the two centre backs are all injured. That's football. Everybody has injuries.
Yeah.
When you have injuries and when things are not going your way, you adapt. You see, and I feel we'll talk about Liverpool shortly, but I think what's been Liverpool's best strength this season is how they've been able to adapt in every situation they find themselves in. They can play as a counter-attacking team, they can play as a possession team, and they can play long if they have to. If there's space, they'll play the four passes. And when they have to defend, they can defend as well because you have to find the right balance in terms of what you're trying to do and not just stick to being a team that also be high press, a lot of attacking, a lot of high running energy. But you're doing this with one of the worst defensive right backs in Premier League, Pedro Porro. Every time Liverpool attacked, if you freeze the frame, it was either three Liverpool attackers versus two of Tottenham's defenders, or four attackers versus two of their defenders. Pedro Porro was nowhere to be found. Basuma, I don't know what's happened to Basuma in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I,
It
I,
hasn't been
I,
6 months. If you remember, he left. The Caicedo joined. He hasn't taken off. It hasn't been 6 months. He just
it's
has.
no, you know what? In fact, it's been more than 6 months because he joined when Conte was still at the club, and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Conte didn't really get him as a player. He didn't really use him as a player. But you're starting to see why he just there's something. I don't know if it's a bit of fatigue or he's just not in it or he's not. It's just he's not the same player that he was at Brighton. And another player, Maddison, another he got. He got a nice goal, but other than the goal, he was terrible today. Captain Son, terrible again. I can go through the whole list. I felt bad for I felt bad for two players, and that's the young central midfielder playing as centre back, Archie Gray, who you're a midfielder by trade, fullback sometimes, but you're playing centre back against one of the best attack in European football, not just the Premier League, and your manager has you play in acres of space against Mo Salah, against Luis Diaz, Suboslan, everybody running at you. It's really tough. And Kulusevski, of course, I feel Tottenham's best player. And
Yeah.
if Ange was to stay for the rest of the season, he has to make a decision. These two of them cannot coexist in that same team at the same time, especially in the big games. And I got a lot of I got into a lot of conversations last week after Tottenham beat Southampton 4-0, or was it 5 0? And it said this thing on social as well. Okay, why are there no Tottenham players in your team of the week? And my response was, yeah, because I know they will lose the next game. This is what Tottenham do. I'm not impressed by Madison scoring two goals against Southampton,
Yeah,
and he then has takes out time to have this cute celebration where he's imitating a sniper taking a shot. I'm just like, this is not Madison. You're at this point you should be with the not comparable, but you should be in the level of De Bruyne's, Odegaard, Saka, those kind of
yeah,
players.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But if you find yourself at this club coming off a relegation 2 seasons ago, and you're in this situation where most times you're on the bench for Tottenham, you can't really hold down your starting spot. You're not consistent in your performances. You score goals, but overall, overall your performances are not up to scratch. But I feel with Tottenham, it's a bunch of nothing. There's nothing there. But going on to a team that has spark, Liverpool, where
Mhm. Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
it seems it's getting. I know there's still a lot of games to go, and there's a lot of points. There are a lot of points to play for. But with Liverpool, I'm sure the Chelsea results that came through before kickoff probably inspired them as well. Where um, Chelsea had the opportunity to go top. They didn't quite take it. They had a goalless draw with Everton. The result obviously gets through to Liverpool, and they go out there in the first 20 minutes. They make a statement that this is why we are in this race as the title favorites. Where they had everything that first 20 to 25 minutes. It was a solid performance, solid professional, a lot of hard working, hard runs, creativity. What's what they lacked was a bit more composure in terms of finishing, but they obviously got the goals they needed. But I feel Liverpool are getting they're getting to that point where the only thing that can stop them this it's if they get one or two bad injuries. But on the way they're going, the way this guy is
Yeah,
managing
I
that team,
know, I know.
the way this guy is managing that
Um,
team, players that are on form. Luis Diaz is scoring more goals now. Salah seems to be breaking Premier League records every week. Shout out to Szoboszlai. Is contributing amazingly. Trent, fantastic again. Van Dijk, imperious. There's a lot. They have a lot going for them, and it's just and when in terms of Chelsea, and when people try to put Chelsea in this title race situation, I just look at like Chelsea don't have what Liverpool have now, where Chelsea don't have a Musa. I know Kopama is probably close to him, but
no, it's
Chelsea don't
not at
have
that level. Yeah.
Chelsea don't have a Musala. You don't have a Virgil van Dijk. You don't have these two players. Not only are they probably the best of the best players around right now, but these are two of the best players ever in the Premier League in their respectable
And
positions.
I think also Trent had one of the best games I've ever seen. Like you could look at Trent and look at with James, how the two careers have gone. Like they are not even
No,
close. They
no,
are not
Trent.
even close right now. Like
No, I'm sorry.
Trent is
It's
going ahead.
and for Liverpool, the only worry would be how soon can they get this contract situation, because it's almost as if they can't really enjoy it because there's that elephant
No,
in
they can't lose those guys.
there's that elephant
I
in the
don't
room.
care they can't lose them.
They'll lose.
It's
They,
better you overpay them and then they tank and then they wash or they are not as good as you thought than you don't pay them. There's no how. But the problem
yeah,
is they'll end up overpaying because if I'm Salah's agent, I'm giving you numbers that are not possible. If you don't want to pay, it's okay. Because if Salah leaves that club and then they go downhill, history will not forget about them.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly. And
before we end, do you have any shout out for any team or any player before we end for the day?
yeah, two. I have one for currently the best striker in the Premier League, Alexander Isak. What he's doing in the last couple of weeks is just is amazing. And it's not just the goal scoring, it's the creativity, he has this swagger about him where when he gets on the ball, he's always trying to create dribble, beat his players, get to the box, score, create goals, and he got a very good assist this weekend. And another shout out to Nottingham Forest. They are
Yeah,
they are the real
yeah,
deal.
yeah.
Going to a place like Brentford, not only beating them but keeping a clean sheet away to Brentford. That's a massive result for them, and it just shows the job where it shows how good of a coach the ex Tottenham manager Nuno Espirito Santo is, and I'm happy to see him enjoying and showing.
Apart from Nuno, I look at Fulham, I look at Fulham, I look at Brentford, I look at Forest. They are all overachieving this season. Their coaches
Bom,
are good.
Bom,
But
uh, Bournemouth
the
as well.
football director of Bournemouth, Fulham, and Nottingham Forest, three of them. But the football director of Forest, even if they spent the most money, that guy
They've
has
got
done something.
they've got
Something very. I looked
I,
at a line. Look at how they got a line off for so cheap that everybody was sleeping.
look,
Bournemouth is
Chel
one club might be difficult for me to buy from them because there's a system they play. If you don't play that, you get what I'm saying. But you look at Nottingham Forest. Look at Morgan Gibbs White. Look at
yeah,
Elliot Anderson. Look at the Serbian guy. Is he Milenkovic or something
yeah,
like?
yeah,
And he
Milankovic.
was the signing. He was your signing of the season, and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
saw. I think you watched Serie A more often because he
yeah,
said it
yeah.
that you are surprised no one picked on you. And do you know what I heard yesterday? I didn't know.
Oh, what's
Mourinho,
that?
before he was signed, only played 6 months of professional football. I didn't know that.
But
The centre back only
but
6 months.
but I know I feel at some point we have a bigger conversation about it. But this is the what is the impact of having good people that can spot talent? And I was reading a piece this morning about Bournemouth's overall operations, and it just their ex-sporting director who's gone to Liverpool now, Richard Hughes.
Mm.
And his last two managerial picks, he wrote, um, the current Bournemouth coach and the Liverpool coach on a slot. He has picked out two of the best managers around, and it just
Yeah,
shows the amount that's gone into the rough the hidden figures, the vision in terms of how you want your team to be modeled around, how you want them to play. Because Liverpool and Bournemouth, they don't really play the same way, but they are they have the same essence where it's energy, pressing, running, but they're very exciting to watch. And you just and like I said with Nottingham Forest, how they're able to pick talent, and Chelsea as well, where randomly you just pick up a random player from it seems random at the time, but they pick up one player from somewhere. Even not the players that have even played for Chelsea, but those that are signed to the club, like Andre Santos, for example, where you get you get this guy, he's bounced around. Now he's found a home on loan at Chelsea's parent club, Strasbourg, and he's just doing amazing stuff there. He's been one of the best midfielders in the French league this season. And it shows you where the days where clubs go out there and spend ridiculous amount of money on players. I don't think we won't see a lot of expensive transfers from big clubs. If they're smart, there
yeah,
will there of course obviously there'll be a few like the Caicedos, the Declan Rice, where you have to you have to pay get paid at what, but it's this that's almost centre back pairing today. Zabani and Horsens. That's about 40 million pounds worth, but they're two of the best young centre backs around. It shows there's a lot to just in terms of recruiting players, just the overall experience that people always look for. Like you need to go and get an experience, but no, I think now you have to go and yeah, a lot of things are going younger these days. You have to go get young,
yeah,
coachable players that have the right traits, the physicality, but also the technical abilities as well. Because the way Bournemouth were passing the ball out of the back today was fantastic,
yeah.
and
It
it's
was.
and it's the same with Nottingham Forest where you have the Brazilian centre back Nekovic, the goalkeeper at the back. That's a very good team. It shows there's a lot of catch up for teams like Tottenham, Manchester United, even Man City now in terms of getting new players in the next 6 months, and Chelsea improving their team and working on ball. If you look hard enough and you're willing to take the risk, there are a lot of players you can get for reasonable prices. You don't need to break the bank anymore these days.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm listening.
do you have any
No, not for
no
today.
no good. But I think this is gonna be our probably our last recording before Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, we come
Yeah,
back on the 27th after the game.
yeah. No, the same.
Boxing Day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think Boxing Day. Is it Boxing Day or Christmas?
yeah,
Christmas
Boxing.
Eve.
No, they don't play games on Christmas. It's the NBA and NFL that play on
Oh,
Christmas
okay.
Day.
No,
Football
Christmas
is
Eve
26th.
on the 24th.
No, I don't think there's a game on 24th. I don't think I checked. I don't think.
No, because I remember last year because we celebrate Christmas where I am in on the 24th, and last year on the
Mm.
24th Chelsea had a game against Wolverhampton Wanderers that they lost.
Oh,
Like that game ruined my Christmas. That game. Okay. So the next our next Premier League game is on Boxing Day, and
yeah, Boxing Day.
that's some juicy fixtures to look forward to. But yeah,
Okay, that should be all for us. Please join us next time. Thanks a lot.
okay.
Bye
Thanks. Bye.
bye. Bye bye.